Welcome, Soul Tribe. Check in. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Get your drink, get your questions, your notes, and let's have a good time.
Dr. Kia Pruitt, shining wisdom's light, teaching Soul Tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul Tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul Tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do. Soul Tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Soul Tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia lights the way to a new and brighter day.
All right, Soul Tribe, check in, check in. I'm going to bring up your comments. It's so good to see everybody. Welcome. I know this is such a short notification, but I wanted to come in today just to talk briefly to you all, see how everybody's doing, check in with the Soul Tribe, and let you all know just a little bit of what we are to expect. I agree. We need to rise in consciousness. Hello, MC Angel from New Zealand. Hello, Aunt Cakes. It's good to see you. Greetings, Grand Rising. Greetings to you too. Swarm says, hey, Dr. Kia Pruitt, gratitude. Will you drop your honey plug for us all, please? And thank you. I sure will. Hello, Sunshine Gold. It's so good to see you. Oh, Sunshine, I hope you were able to make our Soul Tribe private membership group today. We talked about a lot. I'll just briefly talk about, I'm not going to tell in detail here what we talked about, but I'll just share some highlights. So if you have a time and you missed it, please go and look at our membership live we just did. Hello again, Las Vegas in the house. Just so you know, Las Vegas is going to be in the news as there are some rumors saying that the United States Treasury Department will be actually located in Las Vegas, and all of the deserts that were there now are going to be done away with, as water will spring up, and the water that had been held back by the deep state and the people that were in power is now going to be released, and it's going to nourish and flood, not flood, but come into Las Vegas in the Western Hemisphere of our country and make it again a tropical place. So I'm glad to hear you and see you from Las Vegas. Also, all of those casinos that were owned, operated, and controlled by the deep state and some of the Saudi princes, which this is not actually hidden knowledge, those are being released, and now we will be able to buy up that all that Sin City area, trafficking, prostitution, all that was allowed to happen there is all being cleaned up. So just so you know that. Also, I see Toronto, Canada's in the house. It's good to see you. Columbus, Ohio. I have family in Columbus, Ohio. Aloha, Short by Spirit. Hello, Swarm Business from Columbus. Also, Holistics in the house. Peace and love to you. Yes, agriculture is beginning to change already, Sunshine says in Las Vegas. That's so good to hear. Hello, greetings, Unbreakable. It's so good to see you in the house. I'm so happy to hear all the good news too, Sunshine. Hello, Unbreakable. Yes, you're in Arizona. Arizona as well will be nourished with the water that is going to spring up through some of those places, making it now, once again, a tropical area. In fact, the entire planet, family, will be tropical once again, the way it used to be and the way it was supposed to be. So somebody asked me to show, before we get started, the honey plug, where I buy my honey. Let me show you right quick. I have several different types of honey. Okay, I buy it from Honlistic, simply honlistic.shop. In fact, I spoke to the owner just this morning, this rising, about a lot of his products. He was checking to see how I was doing as I have been detoxing my body, and asked me if I got all my products and if I have started bonding the products with my activated charcoal. But I didn't receive my activated charcoal yet. So for those of you who are interested in where I get my honey, it is Honlistic, simply honlistic.shop. Here is the link on the screen. I'll make it bigger for you, and I will put it in the description section so you can get all your honey products. I have black seed oil mixed with my raw honey. It is delicious. I have one black seed oil, raw honey, and cacao. That's real raw chocolate, because my grandson loves chocolate, but he is a vegan. But this is raw chocolate without the additives. I have that. I wish I had it here with me. I have some organic raw oregano. That organic raw oregano, he is right here. Is wild oregano oil mixed with black seed oil. Very, very powerful. Also, there's the peppermint wild oregano that he just gifted me. I can't wait to have some of that. The Manuka honey is delicious as well. We also have sea moss. The sea moss, people have said it is not a good taste at all, but I have sea moss mixed with mango. It's delicious. And sea moss mixed with blueberry. Oh my God. It tastes like real fruit. So I don't know what sea moss actually tastes like. These are products that actually help you to detox your body. Specifically, I enjoy this wild oregano mixed with black seed oil because it removes the parasites from your body, and it unalives their eggs. But you want to make sure you also take, he told me about this, the activated charcoal, which he doesn't sell, but I can give you a link for that. We also have shilajit that unlocks the power of the Himalayas. So all of these products are what I've been using. And what I noticed is I started taking the products for like 2 weeks, and then I got so sick. I didn't know what was happening. And what one of our Soul Tribe members told me is the flu or the virus, that's not a sickness. It's your body attacking the parasites, trying to get rid of them. That's why you keep coughing. I was coughing uncontrollably. It was wild. Now we know that there are many different things happening with the sprays and the different trees that they're planting that's kind of against our bodies that caused people to get sick. Some of it was herbal resistant, but as I was treating my body, I thought I was getting sicker and sicker. But what was happening now that I'm understanding is you can get rid of the parasites by using wild oregano, but the eggs still might hatch. And those parasites are festering in your body, causing you to have aches, headaches, causing you to itch, your skin itch. You might have rectal itching, you might have vomiting, you might have bloating. All of these things are happening. But as we are shifting to the new paradigm, you have the opportunity to address those yourself. So there's cinnamon honey with black seed oil, turmeric honey with black seed oil, orange blossom honey with black seed oil, manuka honey with black seed oil. So many products, family. I like the one with the cacao. It's very flavorful, very rich. Okay. And also sea moss. Now, the sea moss, that is a little tricky shipping that to long distances, but they're working on a way to do that. If you desire to call, then that would be a good idea to do. Hi, see you from the Netherlands. It's good to see you. If you desire to call, maybe have a consultation and ask questions about these products, you scroll down to the bottom. It is a 904 number here because we are located in Jacksonville, Florida. So let me go ahead and put that in the chat for you. You can email simplyhonlistic@gmail.com, or you can give them a call at 904-800-9028. So that's for the person who asked me to please plug the link for Honlistic. Thank you. Swarm Business says, you are fabulous, darling. Thank you very much. And so are you. Thank you for being the reflection of me. I'm just simply a reflection of all of you all. So I'm honored and I'm elated to be part of the Soul Tribe. We're going to get started. I'm just waiting for a few more people to check in. I do want to thank a lot of people who blessed me, or supported me by giving me a financial donation on yesterday. I want to thank Caleb. Thank you so much. I'm shouting you out and showing my appreciation because you don't have to do that. Caleb says, can you tell me about XRP? Well, I'm not the XRP specialist or expert. Dave XRP Lion 1 is the expert. He is on Twitter, or at least I hope he still is. I can contact him and come back, ask him to come back on my show. And I can also put up some of our old videos. And then you have XRPQFS Team 1 on YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, all social media platforms. That gentleman has been on, Mel has been on my show many times. He is an expert in XRP. My understanding, overstanding is these are digital assets, XRP, XLM, some of which are Goldbacks, some of which are Silverback, that will support the payment that people will be using in this new golden era. So I can only tell you the little that I know and bring on experts. I will do that for you, Brother Caleb. Thank you so much for the gift. Illuminated Fitness, thank you, also known as the Adept Moore, did a show with Dr. Kia Pruitt with me about the correlation between fitness and finance. Basically, if you're disciplined in one area, it will translate in and transfer over to other areas of your life. So when you're physically fit and disciplined, and you're disciplined about what you put in your body, that can translate over into how disciplined you are with your finances. And if you're disciplined in your finances, that should inform how you can be disciplined with your body, your eating habits, your supplements, your lifestyle, your relationships. So thank you, the Adept Moore, for sending me a blessing on yesterday. He says, that's a great show. Yesterday, we talked about the connection between the Epstein files being released and the financial industry. He is a financier, by the way. And the Adept Moore is in the finances, but Jeffrey Epstein was a financier. Thank you so much. Carlos says, keep speaking the truth, sister. Thank you for sending me a gift, a donation. Thank you, Brother Reginald Holden says, you're helping. I appreciate the gift. Charlize Taylor says, here's a gift. Thank you, Sister Charisse, excuse me. Thank you, Brother Terrence. This was Friday, sent me a gift. Who else? Jermaine Page said, I'm grateful. Thank you for your financial donation. And Sister Sheila Wallace says, many thanks. Sister Helen says, this is a donation to your ministry. And of course, Beautiful Max Ministry, which is our Chief Mac, also sent me a gift. So keep checking in, family. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Thank you for sending me high vibrations. You're welcome. You are more than welcome, family. I love to share the information that we have with the Soul Tribe. So, what are we talking about today? We are talking about how we have entered a new golden age, a reality where things are going to be as beautiful as we make them. Brother Larry Bolton says, all I know for the XRP that is a cross-border payment platform that is heavily in the massive main blockchain. Thank you, Brother Larry Bolton. And it's an IS-20022 standard cryptocurrency. Wow, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Rise up to you too, Military Angel. I'm so happy you caught us live. You're watching from Gambia. That's awesome. So great to hear the updates of what's happening in West Africa. So in West Africa and all across the globe, people are stepping down as they are being implicated in the Epstein files. So the release of the Epstein files shows people that sent emails to Epstein, people who were involved in what he was doing, people who worked with him in corporations and business deals, and this spans across the entire globe. It's a lot worse than what a lot of people know. So let's get right into it. Although we've entered into the golden era, and President Trump said this the other day, he said, welcome to the golden era, that we're in the golden era. It's important for us to know that you still have a choice. You still have the option and the opportunity to choose if you desire to create a golden reality or if you desire to be stuck in a third dimensional reality where in your mind, it's not, you don't have enough. Now, whatever you focus on and think about, that becomes real for you. And this is why on this podcast, we talk about things that raises the vibrational frequencies, because when you know that things are working in your favor and you realize that you have the opportunity to create change, then you will do so. You will focus on creating change for you and your family and your posterity, and you will start to do the work to actually create a mission and vision statement for your family, to accumulate wealth for your family, to protect your wealth through estate planning, creating trust, and putting your assets in a trust. You will do that. You will look for opportunities as well, because there's a difference between an abundance mentality and a scarcity mentality. An abundance mentality says there's more than enough. There are plenty of resources available for everybody on the planet, including me, no matter what it looks like, no matter what bloodline I come from, which country I come from, there's an opportunity because there's an abundance of resources on this planet. So when you have an abundant mentality, you not only know it, but you start to look for the opportunities. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. The moment you make up your mind, the universe conspires to assist you. So the abundance mentality says, I'm ready. I know that there's an opportunity for me to be wealthy. I know there's an opportunity for me to help children, to rescue children. I know there's an opportunity for me to help people that have been susceptible to drugs. I know there's an opportunity for me to help the people that have been put in prison, help rehabilitate them. I know there's an opportunity for me to clean up the water, for me to change the paradigm and change the environment around me. Therefore, I want to position myself to receive the information for which I am looking. And you will start to look for it, and you will align with the vibrational frequencies that are in alignment with you. This is the reality where we're in. I said forced to choose, but you have the opportunity to choose that mentality. If you don't have it, you can do what's called a paradigm shift, where you can change your mentality and decide today that I'm going to help my family, help humanity, help the world. The converse of that, or the opposite, the antonym, the antithesis of an abundance mentality is a scarcity mentality. Grand Rising. A scarcity mentality says, it's not enough. I can't make it. Ain't no way they're going to let me thrive. The whole world is going to hell. No sense in believing in all this hopium. That's a scarcity mentality. Ain't nobody gonna let us be rich. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about what's going on. Ain't nobody. And that is your reality. You don't see any arrests. You don't hear about the arrests. You won't receive the information because it's scarcity. It's not enough. It can't happen in your mind. And if you keep saying that to yourself and you focus on the negative news, the negative speech, you repeat negative programming and speech that you have heard in mainstream media and heard people say around you, that becomes your reality. Then you won't look for opportunities. Dr. Kia Pruitt is saying, get gold, get silver. A scarcity mentality says, I can't afford it. An abundance mentality says, let me listen, because even though it may not be in my budget right now, I know that I'm going to have wealth. So let me listen. And then when you align yourself with that vibration that says, I can and I will, because there's more than enough on this planet, guess what happens? You'll start to hear information about how you can get gold for $10 by getting Goldbacks. And when I first started talking about this, I said you can get gold for $1 in 2018. Goldbacks, gold Arum notes, 14 karat gold pressed onto a note that you can use right now today to buy local goods and services. Why can you do it? Because 46 states have repealed the state sales taxes from the sales of precious metals. The article from the Sound Money Defense League says 45 states have reclaimed gold and silver as money by removing the sales taxes from precious metals. By them passing legislation that says no more can you put a tax on the sales of silver and gold, they are reclaiming silver and gold as money. They're saying, they're sticking it to the deep state, saying you can't tax money. We're taking our power back as sovereign states, our own country, and saying that silver and gold is money. So right now, today, you can buy Goldbacks, 14 karat gold Arum notes for $10. That's what an abundance mentality says. I can and I will and I must. And then you align yourself with that information. Here's the article here. I'm not going to go over it. This is Money Metals, but Sound Money Defense League also has an article that talks about how 45 states, where is it? Legalize silver and gold as money. That's not my favorite article. Let me see if I can find a favorite one. And how, here it is, states battle to restore gold and silver as money. That's one of the articles there. I'll bring that one up. And I'll put this in the chat for you. I've said this many times, but now that states have removed the taxes from the sales of precious metals, they are restoring gold and silver as money. This was the precursor to many states actually creating Goldbacks. You can go to goldback.com. But years ago, I've been talking about Goldbacks. I called them gold Arum notes in 2017. Back then, the Goldback was only $1. Now the Goldbacks, goldback.com, is $10.02. We have to see things in the matrix of how they are and not what we as an individual desire to see. Yes. Chosen Girl says, I've been shouting this to Dr. Pruitt for years. Now my coworkers and friends are acknowledging what she's been saying. So an abundance mentality will say, there's more than enough. There's an abundance. I can and I will. But it's a choice. It's a choice, family. Goldbacks. One goldback equals $10.02. I went over this whole website with our private group, and we've been talking about this for a long time. And we even talk about how to barter with silver and gold right now. My purpose for saying this, family, is there's going to come a time when the people in power will have to step down. Why? Because their time is up, because the Epstein files have been released, and their names are all implicated on their files, from the attorneys and judges, not all of them, but many. Teachers, doctors, you name it. Boy Scout, Girl Scout. A lot of people are implicated. And as Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, allegedly said to the Department of Justice, and people have been reporting on this, if we prosecute everybody involved, the whole system will collapse. The financial system, the economic system, the entertainment industry, the banking industry, major corporations, they're all going to collapse. That's a fact. But we have an opportunity to create the reality that we need. But you know what? Everybody won't go. Everybody won't listen. They can. We talked about this in the private group. So many of you, and we've been trying to wake people up and saying, hey, this is happening. The system is collapsing. Watch where you put your money. Be careful of the stock market. Some people listen and they say, okay, where can I put my money? And you said, put it in a safe haven. The dollar is losing value. Put it in silver and gold. Go to your local coin dealer and put the declining USD dollar into precious metals. Go to your local coin dealer. Call Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company. I put that on the screen. Call them at 952-929-7006. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. You can let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you because I'm an affiliate. You can email them or call them and say, I just want to know what you have in inventory. Send it to me. Or I just want to spend this amount of money. Can you tell me what you have and send it to me? Or you can go online and shop or go to your local coin dealer. So many people have said that. Or you can even roll over your retirement into a gold IRA or put the money into gold and silver, because the United States dollar is collapsing. Everything attached to the United States dollar is collapsing. Especially now that the Epstein files, by the way, he was a financier, have been released. It's going to happen very, very quickly. It's going to happen very quickly. So you told people, get silver and gold. You told people what this person on Twitter that I'm quoting right now, Crypto Rover, has said. People are selling off their stocks. Why do you think they're selling off their stocks? A lot of billionaires and millionaires that were propping up the stock market and buying more stocks, making it look like everybody was buying into the stock market, are selling them off. 100% sell, zero buys. Insiders dumped their stocks at the fastest pace ever. It's over for the system. Some people will listen. They will take some of their money out of the stock market. They will put it into gold and silver and other hard assets, land, or take some of the USD in their hand, because when the stocks are dumped and the land, let's say the land now becomes available, excuse me, my nose rings. The land becomes available. All of these commercial properties are empty now because everybody's fleeing their businesses. Their names been implicated. If you have USD laying around, you can go buy it up. But my point in bringing this up, listen, is they show you who the owners are, the relationship, the date they were this was between February 9th and February the 12th, because he just listed this the other day. The transactions, the costs, you see billions and millions and hundreds of thousands dump, values of stocks dump. Now, some of them may be worth picking up if you want to buy the dip. But hey, everything attached to the United States dollar, the stock market, the housing market, the automobile industry, it's all going to collapse. I showed you, I did a podcast last week that we had already had a financial black swan event where stocks plummeted, silver and gold prices plummeted, crypto plummeted, a major bank collapsed. All of that happened in one day. That was the black swan event, the financial black swan event. Some people will take heed and say, you know what, I'm going to listen and I'm going to do what I can to protect my assets, or at least have a positive mentality and store up for my family. Thank you for the information. But some people, we're not talking about the ones who maybe they don't have the money to do it, or maybe they don't have the wherewithal. We're talking about some people who think, I got time, I can do whatever I want. You just an old conspiracy theorist. They don't realize that they think that a conspiracy is the theory. They think it's something you make up. But what is the conspire definition? To make a secret plan jointly to commit an act, some will say a harmful act, or it's really just to agree together, to secretly decide to do something. They conspire. Some people will add the evil to it, but it's an agreement. The theory is that the agreement, or what you plan to do, the plan you put together, is just a theory. It's not real. But everybody's not a conspiracy theorist. This is true. So some people will decide to choose, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to have anything to do with it. You're a conspiracy theorist. You don't know what you're talking about. But there will come a time that the people who are prepared will stop listening and stop making room for the naysayers, and we'll be about our fathers and mothers' business and ancestors' business and create the reality that we've been desiring for a long time. What do you saying? Earlier today and on yesterday, I talked about the parable between the 10 virgins, 10 wise virgins and 10 foolish virgins. In the scripture, it talks about 10 virgins. Now, this is just a parable. This isn't a religious thing I want to talk to you. You know, that's not a religious channel. What I want you to do is pay attention to the teaching lesson. Okay. You have on one side people that are prepared and other people who think they have time. So the scripture talks about a parable where 10 virgin bridesmaids await the coming of a bridegroom and the start of the wedding festivities. 5 of the bridesmaids foolishly failed to bring extra oil for their lamps. Because back then you have to trim your lamps with oil and have certain things and you know, when you have your lamps, you're waiting around, you're watching, because there was somebody supposed to come at midnight and to let them know what's going on. Okay, so 10 virgin bridesmaids await the coming of the bridegroom and the start of the wedding festivities. 5 of the bridesmaids are foolish. They failed to bring extra oil for their lamps. 5 of the bridesmaids wisely bring extra oil for their lamps. All 10 of the bridesmaids fall asleep as they wait on the bridegroom to come. All the people are waiting on the global currency reset, the revaluation of currency, the fail and the fall of the cabal, the complete and imminent collapse of everything. And they're waiting for the new golden reality to come, because you have to do away with the old in order to usher in the new and walk into the new system that we call heaven on earth. So all the bridesmaids fall asleep as they wait. We're all waiting right now. They are roused at midnight when the cry goes out, here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him. Matthew 25:6. The foolish virgins ask their companions for oil, since their lamps are going out. Their lamps are going out. They've been waiting through the night, but they haven't been tending to the lamps. They didn't buy extra oil for the lamps. They thought they had time. They might have been hanging out. They might have been gossiping. They might have been calling the wise virgins fools. They might have been playing. They might have been watching movies and going to play games and laughing and kiki and kaka. But in the middle of the night, when the cry goes out, the bridegroom coming, we've entered the golden age. It's time now to rebuild. The system has collapsed. Let's go into the festivities and have a good time and meet the bridegroom. The foolish virgins ask their companions for oil since their lamps are going out. The wise virgins who have no oil to spare, they've been telling you what's going to happen. They've been crying out like the prophets, like the podcasters, like Peter Schiff, like Andy Sheckman from Miles Franklin, like Dr. Kia Pruitt, like Chief Matt, like many of the other people, Sister Maria, crying out, saying, prepare, prepare. The wise virgins have no more oil to spare. They've been gathering up the resources. They've been planning. They advise the unprepared to go buy some oil somewhere else. While the 5 foolish virgins are away, going to go now they're trying to prepare at the last minute. Oh, all the stores have collapsed. Now let me hurry up and run to Walmart. Let me run and get some toilet paper like they did through the global shutdown. Let me run and try to find gold. But now gold and silver have reached unobtainium. The price is now way higher than what they were because they failed to prepare. So while they're out trying to go look for all the oil, proverbial oil, the 5 foolish virgins, the wise virgins enter the wedding banquet and the door is shut. Why? Because it's time to celebrate. It's time to work on those humanitarian projects. It's time to get the tribes together. It's time for the community to now set up the banks and the schools and the healing centers. The 5 foolish virgins return, but they find the door shut against them. They knock. Let me in. I want to get into the wedding feast, but they are refused. Right? Why are they refused? If you grew up in church like I did, and they talked about the 5 wise virgins versus the 5 foolish virgins, they say, they that were ready went into the feast. They that were ready went into the feast. They that were ready went into the feast of the marriage supper of the Lamb, because that also represents what they called the second coming of Christ, the Lamb of God, who was coming to get his church, his bride. The foolish people that didn't prepare their hearts, didn't prepare their minds, didn't prepare their soul. It's not just about gathering resources and assets. It's also making sure your heart and mind is ready to go into the new golden era. It's also making sure your heart and mind is ready to take care of the people who can't take care of themselves. It's also about getting your heart, your mind, your soul, and your family prepared to rescue and take care and nurture the children that have been trafficked. It's also about getting your heart and your mind ready to receive people who are coming home out of prison who don't have violent offenses, who need to be rehabilitated. It's also about making sure you have the high vibrational frequency to deal with the new reality that's full of love, full of peace, full of joy, full of global wealth. But if your heart, your mind, and your soul is fallow ground, hardened ground that hasn't been broken up and tended to, and your heart's not malleable, and you're not able to hear good news, and you don't know how to receive the poor, you don't know how to receive the sick, you don't know how to receive the children, you don't know how to receive good news, you don't know how to receive all the things your husband, your wife, your sister, your brother, podcasters have been trying to tell you, because you haven't worked on your heart, the door is going to be shut and you could miss out. But you have the opportunity right now, under the sound of our voice, to avail yourself of opportunities. Avail yourself. We have a choice. The era into which we're going, where we already are, some of us are already in 4D and 5D. That's why we can talk about this. We've been preparing. We focusing on a golden reality. We've meditated. We've sent positive vibes out to the military. Some of us have worked with the military. Some of us have helped rescue children. Some of us heard their stories. We've prayed with them. We've ministered to them. We sent positive energy out to them. We've sent out our thoughts. We did massive meditations. We've gotten our hearts ready to receive these babies. We're ready for the new golden era. Even if we don't have money, even if we don't have silver and gold and copper or money for land, we have the heart that's conditioned and right to help the people. Chief Max says this all the time. If you have a heart full of hatred, if you're angry and you don't like people, you don't love people, if you don't, you're going to miss out because they know who each of us are. Who is they? The people, the beings that are over the QFS, the sentient quantum financial system that's now on board. They that were ready went into the feast of the marriage supper of the Lamb. What happened to the foolish? They cried unto the wise, oh, give us some of your oil. They cried unto the wise, but the wise said too late. And some say, but the wise said not so. They cried unto the wise, oh, give us some of your oil. But the wise answered and said, not so, lest there be not enough for thee and me. So you see, some of the people that's within our realm of influence, some of the people to whom we're married or with whom we're in a relationship or with whom we've been speaking, have not prepared. Some of them don't want to listen. They don't believe. And it's okay because what we've decided to do is to go ahead and focus on the new reality, prepare our own hearts to create and write out humanitarian projects, listen to all the podcasts we can, read the books and information, learn about what's going on so we can take care of our posterity, our future generations and our communities. We're honing our skills. We're learning how to barter. We're thinking about planning out our schools because the education system is collapsing. We're going to have to create our own schools. Hospitals are collapsing. Doctors are walking out. This is common knowledge by now. Doctors have said, I'm done with the insurance companies. I'm done with how we've been fed jab, 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 and people are still getting sick. They are walking out of the industry. Nurses are leaving en masse. I have family members who are nurses. They can't keep the nursing home field. They're having a hard time hiring nurses with hospitals. Most of the doctors, 70% of the medical industry depends upon immigrants, many of whom were illegal or unlawful or their paperwork ran out, and now they're being deported or self-deporting. We've relied so heavily now, and some of the doctors have been implicated. We're about to have Nuremberg 2.0 trials where a lot of doctors and nurses are going to be implicated in what they're doing to cause people to get sick, putting people on ventilators because they were getting money for it. A lot of Nuremberg trials happening, right? They're preparing for them right now. They may even be happening. We watched some military tribunals at c-vine.net. In 2018, they took that website down. I watched some of them. You can look at resignation.info and you can see the medical industry is losing people. The Department of Education losing people. Teachers are leaving en masse. People are pulling their schools out of the public education system because they're tired of them being propagandized. Tennessee rejected funds from the United States Department of Education about 3 years ago. They said, we can educate our own children. We have enough money. And by the way, a lot of states like Tennessee and Florida have given money to parents to either put their children in private school or to homeschool them. You can get $7,000 to $10,000 per child. That's an incentive to get people to remove their children from the education system so they can no longer be propagandized and they can no longer be victims of these cells that are being activated to shoot up the schools. The school system is collapsing. The financial system is collapsing. Epstein was involved with a lot of nefarious activities with many bankers. Banks are collapsing. They're all involved. All of this is over. So you have some people that are ready for it. And then you have some people that said, I got time. I'm going to be a foolish virgin. We'll the golden era, it'll come, whatever. And you tried to tell them you were the trumpet sound in Zion, in your family, in your community. Just like the prophets telling everybody in biblical times and ancient times, you had prophets, you had seers, fortune tellers, foretellers, warning people. Some would listen and some wouldn't. And then at the last minute, people want to wake up And they come and knock on the door, but you know what? You've already moved on. It's just like in a relationship. I've been trying to tell you what you need to do to get right. I've been trying to tell you what I need. My needs aren't met. So at some point, I'm just going to be quiet. You're just going to be quiet, and you're going to focus on the future. You're going to focus on entering into the feast, the marriage supper, to go celebrate with the bridegroom. And when the time comes, you talked out. And people knock on the door and say, hey, let me in. The door is going to be shut, not because you're trying to be evil and vindictive, but because you had time. The time is up. I'm shifting my focus. You said you didn't want me there anymore. You said you didn't want to listen to me anymore. You called me a conspiracy theorist. You wanted to go party, to play. You thought you had lots of time. You wanted to be on social media, kiki and kaka. You wanted to cheat. You want whatever. You wanted to hang out. You wanted to go party, kick it. That's your prerogative. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. But meanwhile, I've been preparing. You've been preparing. It's a choice. So now that you've entered into the golden age, what did President Trump say? The golden age is here on his social media, on Truth Social, on February 11th. Now that the door has been shut, the opportunity, people think opportunities are going to last forever. That's not true. And some people might think that's not fair, to opportunities are forever. But choose you this day, today, whom you will serve, which reality you will create or have or enjoy for yourself. Heaven and hell is not what's going to happen after life. Heaven and hell is here on earth. What do you and I choose to create? So the golden age is here. The door is about to be shut as the old system collapses and we create a beautiful new reality. When people come a knocking, I've already shifted my attention. People are going to say, I tried, whether they say it verbally or their actions show it. The door is going to be shut. People are going to try to come and you're going to be like, look, I'm creating humanitarian projects. All the things you said that I was doing erroneously or in error, yes, I'm working on that. I've moved on. I've already gotten a new relationship. I'm already working on my new reality. I've already protected my wealth and my assets. I wish you the best. Or they might not say anything. You know why they might not say anything? Because they're too busy actually creating their reality. The door is shut. But you have an opportunity to choose which reality you desire. Trump said this on February 11th. And now the golden age is here, President DJT. What are we going to do about it? It's a reality for those who know it's real. Whatever you think about and focus on, that's your reality. It's like you can have several different timelines, realities happening at the same time, is what I heard. That's what I heard. What I know is you can create the desire, the reality that you desire and deserve. I'm not going to be on here long, family. Thank you for joining the chat. How do I know that it's over? I just put in the chat Trump's Truth Social where he says the golden era is here. How do I know that it's over? Because the files have been released. Because people are now coming straight out and saying it. I'll let you listen to this briefly about some of the companies that have been implicated.
Files. LifeTouch, the brand that takes 90% of our school pictures and also facilitates JCPenney photos. Yeah, they've basically been giving our pictures up so it could be a catalog for these predators to look through so they could see what kids they want. 2, Chuck E. Cheese, the CEO, and now they're going to have a new one starting on February 13th because he decided to step down after getting caught. Wayfair was mentioned just short of 400 times in the files. So yes, y'all were completely right, and it was not a conspiracy theory when everyone was saying that Walmart and Wayfair are listing shoes and furniture at $100,000 price tags with the names of real children that were missing. It was not a conspiracy. They were really doing that. Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, White Barn, and Pink. They're all owned by Les Wexner, and he is in the Epstein files. It's everyone.
She says it's everyone. Let me get out of there. Lots of brands were found there. Life Touch, the people that were taking the pictures for our children. I've said this a couple of times, I know. At the school picture day, they would send those to the likes of Epstein and other organizations so they can choose which child they desire. Many of these companies, they're going to collapse. Their CEOs are stepping down all over the globe. This is real. And the people who are ready would then be able to create their own reality with what some people are calling mom and pop shops. You'll be able to create your own business, your own schools, your own banks, your own healing centers. Here's something that somebody sent me the other day. The Epstein lawsuit in the Virgin Islands is connected to Jamie Dimon, and his subpoena is important to the Epstein case. It's important to understand the current case in Virgin Islands against Epstein and the subpoenas for the world's most powerful men in the world, as Sergey Brin, Jamie Dimon, and etc. All of them, as is all a cover story by the mill operations who are simultaneously conducting secret hidden military courts that issued the subpoenas to bring in these elites for the briefing and their connection to the Epstein world money laundering, human trafficking, PDF blackmail network that controls over 100 countries and their corporations. Countries and corporations were all involved in colluding with Epstein, doing harmful things with children, trafficking women, children, and men, and drugs, and allowing for nefarious activities to happen on all of our lands. For the people that don't know it, Jamie Dimon is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, and he has been the CEO since the early 2000s. Ever wonder why you can't be or have had a hard time being a CEO of a major corporation or of a bank? It's because you are not part of the club. There's a big club, and you and I weren't in it. So no matter how hard you work, how many degrees you got, you weren't allowed to be a CEO unless you were ready to do some bad things to children. Some people chose that lifestyle, and now they have to pay the consequences. Over one of the largest banks in the world on Wall Street, and is considered one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful Wall Street banker today. Him stepping down, which he will, if he hasn't done already, will collapse the entire banking system. That's why they said banks will be transferred over and changed over to wealth management centers. The United States Islands Attorney General Denise George was fired after her filing the lawsuits in the Epstein case, but still the lawsuit was allowed in U.S. courts. Inside the lawsuit, it is confirmed JP Morgan allowed Epstein to run XA trafficking networks through their banking system. And Jamie Dimon, who President Trump called the devil a couple months ago, he was aware of what Epstein was doing, how he was paying for these victims, giving them sums of money. Leslie Wexner, who owned Victoria's Secret and Bath and Body Works, also was involved. Wexner hired Jeffrey Epstein as his financial manager beginning sometime in the 80s and continuing through 2007. Wexner had a very close relationship with Epstein and began in the 80s and continued throughout Epstein's supposed death. So Victoria's Secret, as the young lady said, was involved. With the help of Lester Crown, the biggest stakeholder in Rockefeller Center, Hilton Hotels, and the Yankees, the Bulls, Bank One, etc., Leslie Wexner and the Crown family merged Bank One with JP Morgan and placed Jamie Dimon into power. Dimon was building Citigroup with Sanford Well, and that started with Commercial Credit Corp. In 1985, and Data Corp, which was a part of the deep state intelligence community connected to organized crime that moved money laundering operations across the globe. They spied on the U.S. military and intelligence and sold military classified intelligence information to Russia or Russian and China and other countries, including the Mossad. There's also some evidence that suggests or support that Epstein was a part of the Mossad. MI6 CIA super spy Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, was the father of Anthony Blinken, the United States Secretary of State, and Obama's National Security Advisor, Armand Hammond, and crime families. Several of these elites from the 70s and 80s tried to build the first one world financial system and economy. And they sold United States classified weapon plan to Russia and the Russian oligarchs, as well as Ukrainian oligarchs. They sold to the CIA, the Pentagon, DARPA operations. All of them are involved. They tried to control all the world banks that senators and Congress used and financed. These were all blackmail traps and ops. So you have the CIA, Russian oligarchs, Rockefeller, Rothschild, Commercial Credit Corp, Data Corp, many major corporations, stock insiders, social media and television station leaders, all colluding with Epstein. They were all in on it. This is why Pam Bondi allegedly, now you have to say allegedly, said if we arrest them all and we prosecute them all, the whole system will collapse. Because why? Because the whole system was involved. If we have a heart and a mind to help rebuild, we'll be able to enter into the proverbial feast, the golden era. But if we're resting on our laurels and we're playing and kiki and kakaing, it's all up to you. You can miss out. Not because somebody's trying to keep you out. And I'm not saying this to be mean or anything. I'm saying because of the choices that we make. And even if you are given wealth, if your heart and mind's not ready, you might go through it or spend it. Or at the last minute, when it's time to prove that you're going to do the right thing by having this type of wealth, when it's time to prove it, because you haven't worked on your heart, worked on your mind. We're not even talking about worked on humanitarian projects because the condition of your heart is not prepared. Guess what? You're not going to have access to money. I won't have access to the money, to the wealth. It's just a new reality, family, soul tribe. So they're saying insiders are dumping stocks. They're saying that not only are professionals being implicated in the Epstein files and CEOs of corporations and banksters, which we call them gangster banksters, but pastors, coaches, nurses, doctors. Wait until people realize that it's not just the prelates, the prime ministers, the bankers, the CEOs, the medical professionals, people over research and development, all this, and government agencies and media personalities. But wait until people realize that even some everyday people that we know have been harming children, they know who people are. We have the opportunity to do what's right. We have the opportunity to, first of all, not be involved in them. To what people call repent, that means do a change of heart, change your ways. You still have to deal with the consequences of your choices, but we have opportunity to change our ways and our mind and our behavior so that we can be ready to enter the feast. Because at the last minute, when the door is shut and it's time to celebrate and it's time to rebuild, the door is going to be shut. You can knock, you can bang, you can cry, you can scream, you can whatever. Let's bring it to terms of people understand. When the whole world was shut down in 2020, there were people that were saying it's all going to lock down. I showed people last night an article I published before the lockdown, and I said I was getting word from the ancestors and from people that were just telling me I didn't even know it was about to happen. I just knew it was going to happen one day. I said at some point, everything's going to close down. We're going to have a curfew. Military is going to be on the ground. That's before Trump officially and overtly released National Guard on the ground. And I say everything's going to shut down. We need to prepare. people hadn't heard this. Some of them called me a conspiracy theorist. They would invite me on their shows to talk about it, just to ridicule me on their shows live. But I had to understand and understand that some of them were part of secret societies. They had their own shows or whatever, and some of them weren't even high up here. Some of them were just part of their little secret societies. Days later, literally days later, the whole world shut down. You know what happened? People started knocking on the doors. CVS trying to get their medicine, knocking on doors, trying to kick down Walmart, trying to get toilet paper, but the toilet paper was sold out. Knocking on doors, trying to get flashlights. They had to wait until the new shipment came. But guess what? A new shipment took days and weeks to come. Because when you shut down the world, when you shut down the system, when the whole system collapses, that affects the transportation industry. That affects the docket workers and the ship supplies, the supplies that come through the ships, on the trains, through the trucks. But they that were ready and prepared went into the feast. We went home. We were like, I'm cool. The preppers who've been saying this way before I was even born, they had enough. They had been growing their food. They had enough to help their whole family and community. They had stocks of supplies. They had food. Some of them had moved off the grid. They had water. Listen, it is my hope that it gets beautiful and amazing overnight. When I talk to economists, they say something else. They say it can get worse before it gets better. I just spoke it that the whole world was going to shut down in 2020 based on the information I received. I didn't know what that was going to look like. I had never seen anything in my whole life where the whole world, at the moment of the twinkling of an eye, the whole world was shut down. Nobody could be on the streets. The curfew for the whole world, military on the ground, dumb, stupid people who were conditioned, excuse me for being so cruel, conditioned to go and fight police that were out past midnight, fighting the National Guard, spitting on the police and the cops, spitting on folks, saying I can do whatever I want to do, raiding food stores, breaking up ATMs. These dummies didn't realize that they could see your face through the mask, and they got arrested when they went home to sleep thinking they had made it. Why? Because they weren't ready. They didn't have their heart and minds in the right place. They didn't listen to wisdom. And they were easily controlled and manipulated, because instead of preparing their hearts and mind for the golden era or even for the shutdown, Corona was called crown, as in your crown chakra being activated, as in this is what's going to happen to wake up people. As in gold, as we entered the golden era. People didn't know that because their heart and minds were focused on other things, playing, partying, kikiing, kai, calling folks conspiracy theories, resting on their laurels, not trying to work on their relationships, thinking they can be out here playing around, cheating, being on social media, exploring their options, just sending their kids to school while they're playing on social media, taking flicks for the gram, selling feet pics, being on OnlyFans, selling their nana and their private parts. Just having a goody old jolly good time, listening to mainstream media. When the world closed down, they weren't ready. They were knocking at the last minute. They cried unto the wise, oh, give us some of your oil. But the wise answered, said not so, lest there be not enough for thee and me. I give you what I can, but I'm not about to give you from my coffers when you laughed and you played. You see what I'm saying? We have an opportunity right now, while we're alive, while there's still time, to get our hearts and minds right, to restore our relationships. Because what are we going to do if people are so busy working that they can't tend to you who are now sick? And listen, some people are gracious. They extend grace and mercy no matter what. But it's just human nature that if you mistreated people all your life, for them to say at some point, I'm not able to take care of you, but I know a nice lady down the road who can do it. I know a nice little nursing home. And I'm not even trying to be facetious, because you mistreated them. Or when you want to get on work on your relationship because you've explored your options and you realize there's nobody out there, And now people have a marriage mentality, or at least they want to enter into covenant. And now you've been playing games. You thought you can do whatever you want. Now you want to come back home. They've moved on. But you have an opportunity. You have a choice. Choose you this day whom you're going to serve. And I'm not saying God or Satan. I'm saying righteousness or unrighteousness, preparation or being ill prepared. It's difficult to grow in an apartment, but there are plants. My grandmother grew outside, in a garden, out at home, in different gardens, and she had inside plants. She had peppers. She had got all kind of plants and we had a store. She used to own a store. We had a storefront, our house, but then in front of it used to be a store. She had all kind of plants and fruit she was growing right in the house. But I'm glad you said that, because this is the opportunity now to figure out how to make it happen. It's difficult to grow in an apartment, absolutely, but it is possible to grow some things, maybe not all things, but what can you grow? I'm glad you said that, because sometimes instead of, people we're like, sometimes like, it's just too challenging. I can't, but we can ask ourselves, how can I? Then you start looking at other people who are farmers who are already growing. Start a community garden. This is excellent. Go to your farmers market, support your local farmers markets. Start buying seeds now before seeds become unobtainium, meaning they once were available. Now everybody's trying to get the seeds. So now the price is high and you're being priced out. Yes, things will come down at some point, but in the interim, it could get challenging. We can learn, we can read, we can study. This is excellent. We can go and support people that's already doing it. If you learn how to barter, you are growing food. I'll buy food from you and I'll give you some constitutional money, some coins minted before 1965. Most merchant and people recognize constitutional money, with some people erroneously called junk money. They recognize those coins, like those $50 Kennedy dollars, those dimes, real dimes. They recognize that as real money. Or you might say, hey, if you join a private group, we talked about at some point, it's a while ago, how to barter with Goldbacks and how to even educate people about Goldbacks. There are merchants right now in your community that accept Goldbacks, and silver and gold is money. There are some that are registered right now. Okay. So I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because we can choose. What else is it hard to do? Batani says, get some duckweed. It grows just about anywhere and is filled with protein and other nutrients. I love the way we're supporting and helping each other. Yeah, it was during CV19 that I actually, if you're talking about me, told people to prepare. Simon Shea says, I remember in the 70s, a beautiful white couple came to our countryside wanting to take pictures of us kids just playing. I was probably 7 years old and I thought it was rather strange and I refused it. A lot of us never heard of duckweed. So we have an opportunity right now to make certain decisions to get our family in order, to get our plans in place. If you desire assets, to get Goldbacks, you can get Goldbacks. Not right. One Goldback is $10. What about a half of a Goldback? That's going to be about $5 or $6. You can get half Goldbacks. Goldback.com educates you on that. You can go to AppMex, you can go to SD Bullion, JM Bullion, or you can just Google where to buy Goldbacks. Gold RM notes, 14 karat gold pressed on a note right now that you can use to buy local goods and services, to barter with, to pay taxes, property taxes, if your state still does that. But many of us have been saying taxes are going to be done away with, income taxes are going to be done away with. And now you have about 13 states that are in alignment with that. The latest being Michigan that did that, eliminated income taxes in 2025, around the spring of 2025. And the most recent state that is passing legislation to get rid of income taxes is Georgia. Do you know people laughed at us when we said they're going to do away with income taxes, when we said there will be no central bank digital currencies, when we said we're going to enter the golden era, when we said NASARA, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, is real, when we said Trump would be used to take down the deep state, when we said the whole system is collapsing, all the way before Trump became president and once he became president under his first administration, because people couldn't see it with their eyes, they call us stupid. But I kept saying, if you speak it and you know it and you say it in your heart with all of the knowingness and strength and positivity that you have out of your being, it will become a reality because you commanded it to be so. We weren't on a gold standard. They laughed in 2014 when I said, China's over mining gold in Africa. I'm living right here in Ghana. I see the Chinese mining gold. I see the Lebanese here. I see European. I see Ashanti gold here. Euro, what is it? Something Ashanti gold. Here, something's happening with gold. And when Trump became the president, 2016, 2017, I said, we're moving to the gold standard. I can see it. I already see 13 states that legalize silver and gold as money. People call me fool, dummy, stupid. I didn't know what I was talking about. But I said, it doesn't matter if I see it or not. I'm speaking it into existence. I'm declaring it to be so. And when you have two or more people gathered together saying the same thing, we create that reality. We make it real. That's how much power we have. And we also talked about how the global currency reset would happen. That means all at once, all the countries would decide to change over to the old financial system and create their own based on silver and gold. We talked about Project Sandman and how that was a secret agreement between 209 nations to, whenever they're triggered, stop trading with the dollar and use their own local currencies backed by the resources each currency has for trade. And then those countries would inspire their people within those countries to only trust in their currency. Well, it sounds like weird to talk about Project Sandman and some secret agreement, but what happened? I said that in 2017, in 2018, 2022, Vladimir Putin goes over and start cleaning out the dumps, and Ukraine declares war against Ukraine, start exposing all of this corruption that was going on there. By the way, Ukrainian oligarchs own parts of Louisville, Kentucky. The feds raided PNC, the PNC corporation, and the whole area. The feds raided Cleveland, where the Ukrainian oligarchs own downtown Cleveland. They're raiding all type of places when they found out what was going on. So in 2022, Vladimir Putin started uncovering this and exposing this worldwide during the war. Biden got angry with him for exposing him and all these presidents that were involved in trafficking of children. Just before the Epstein files were released, he put sanctions on Vladimir Putin and said, no one can do business with Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin responded by saying, I don't need to do business with any other nation. Neither do I need to trade with the United States dollar. I have my own currency. I will use my Russian ruble. Vladimir Putin, who is a part of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, went to the BRICS conference and told them, I'm going to use my own currency since Biden thinks he's going to put sanctions on me. And I'm going to show him I got my own military, my own currency. I encourage you all to use my currency first and then use your own. 2022, the Russian ruble became the strongest performing currency in the world. Vladimir Putin was the trigger. What is Project Sandman? The secret agreement between 209 nations that when triggered, they'll stop trading with the dollar and use their own currencies for trade. 2022, the Russian ruble became the strongest performing currency in the world. It still is one of the strongest performing currencies. Vladimir Putin then, after that, told the BRICS nation, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, join me. Stop trading with the dollar, and the dollar will collapse. BRICS became stronger. Who was the first nation they tapped on? Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia joined BRICS in 2022. They became known as Sal BRICS. That ended the relationship between the United States Incorporation and the Saudi Empire. This is what gave the United States Incorporated financial and economic hegemony, power, and what made the dollar the world reserve currency. It was their secret agreement or open agreement between the United States Incorporated, the group of bloodline families that incorporated themselves in 1871 as a nonprofit religious organization with the Pope as the head. They had an agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudi kingdom in exchange for the oil. And they would force all nations to get oil from Saudi Arabia through OPEC and some of their other agreements. And they must use the USD to do it. They can't use their own currencies. Agreement between the United States Incorporated and Saudi Arabia. Well, when Saudi Arabia joined BRICS in 2022, that ended the agreement. Then the next year, 2023, the written agreement just was not renewed. But it already ended in 2022 when Saudi Arabia joined BRICS. Secretively, I announced it when it happened. And they became known as Sal BRICS. Then other nations joined BRICS and they became known as BRICS Plus. By the time we entered 2023, more than 85% of the global population had joined the BRICS bloc, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, in trading with their own currencies, giving up the United States dollar. They made a secret pact through Project Sandman to stop trading with the dollar, and they agreed to world peace. This is why in 2026, President Trump can state emphatically that he has created the Board of Peace with many nations that have joined, that he has removed us from over 66 international organizations that didn't serve us. And the reason why he's doing this is to establish our sovereignty. Yep. He said the Board of Peace will replace the United Nations because the United Nations was nefarious, was a part of the corporation. Now we're all experiencing our sovereignty. It's up to each of us to decide if we want to embrace the new world, know this to be true, or create our own, or to just say, nothing's happening. I don't need to prepare. It's all over. Or I'll just let somebody else prepare for me. I'll let them do it. I'll keep participating in the system. We have a choice. That's the beauty of choice. Willpower. Everybody has the power to choose. In my private group, I discuss countries that unveiled their new revalued currencies. There is a slideshow of countries. You can do the digging yourself. But we have a whole slideshow that show country after country that have dealt with hyperinflation, that have put in new economic reforms, countries that have secured and brokered agreements between each other, countries that have their own payment platform, like the one between the African nations called PAPS, Pan-African Payment System, like the payment platforms that Iraq has. We discuss all that. We discuss all the agreements, how these countries have had the entrepreneurs to come back home and they're investing in them. We talked about economic stability, how they're rebuilding their infrastructure. And we've unveiled or shown the countries that have unveiled their new currency. They've already lopped off the zeros. They already dealt with hyperinflation. This is real. We've shared, I have a video on Nasara. Go to Dr. Kia Pruitt's show, type in NESARA. I have videos that prove that income taxes are being done away with. I've done videos that show that state income taxes are being done away with. I just told you that Mississippi they did it in 2025. Georgia's the latest one to do so in 2026. You can Google it. I've shown videos that, and you have too, that highlight how we're moving to a gold standard. I remember when I first started talking about people like, oh, there's no gold standard. Gold is a relic. Gold is outdated. There's no such thing as gold as money. We've already gone beyond that. Quit calling it gold standard. Call it gold something else. Like just, you know what? I kept doing the work. I kept focusing on the new reality. We declared it to be so. We taught as many people as we could, all of us. And to he that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. For she that has an ear, let them hear what the ancestors and wisdom is speaking to the masses. Chief Mac's email is unityinmotion45@yahoo.com. If you desire to do a consultation, because I give news online, but I don't do consultations. Thank God for Chief Mac. He said, you do what you do, and I'll do the consultations. You share your energy. This is the wisest way for you, and I'll do it this way. So for a consultation with Chief Mac, or if you desire to have a trust to teach you how, so that you can live in a private and where you have an EIN, a foreign EIN, to help you operate outside the jurisdiction of the corporation or all corporations, then you can email him at unityinmotion45@yahoo.com. I'll put it in the chat. You're welcome. Let's see. Chief Mac. unityinmotion@yahoo.com. Oh, thank you, Sister Janine. She already put it in the chat. And I see you all speaking, family. Simone says, I plant in the summertime and freeze vegetables for winter. My grandma used to do that. We have a very short growing season, May until early September. This person says, BRICS is a failure. Why is Russia trying to get into U.S. markets? Because you're pushing nigger propaganda. Well, chemtrails, we don't use that type of conversation. And if you don't like what we're saying, you can just go somewhere else. Okay. Interesting how people will come, listen to the podcast, get the information they want, and still be negative at the same time. But I understand that this isn't what you want to hear, so we'll just delete you because I don't have the energy. So we have a choice. We can choose to create a beautiful new reality. Some people are saying get out the stock market. You see them dumping stocks. Use your own judgment. Earlier today, I did a podcast in my private group where we asked, will the Epstein files affect the RV, the revaluation of currencies? And what we discussed and discovered is that so many people are stepping down. And whereas it could make some people think that's going to slow down the revaluation of currencies, other people can see the benefit of these people stepping down. Because now who's going to control what your country does with their currency? If you're interested in seeing that video, here it is. I'll put it in the chat. We asked, will the Epstein files being released affect the revaluation of currency? Is it going to slow things down? Is it going to speed it up? We talked about how the United States applaud Iraq's economic stability. We talked about what's going on with Iraq, Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Vietnam, and some other countries. We talked about alternative currencies, what's going on in the geopolitical system, how everything is going to be affected. And Bitcoin took a major hit. Why? Because that is the currency that these people, these elites, I know y'all don't, some people say they don't like that word, or elites. That's why I say elites, elites, Elohim. They were using Bitcoin to buy and sell children. As I said the other day, Epstein's arrest and him being brought to trial, those years were always connected to a financial collapse. 2005, and I went into deep this deep dive yesterday. Look at my video from last night. 2005, the first time he was arrested, that led to a housing market collapse in 2006. He then was brought to trial in 2010. That led to the first and largest Bitcoin crash in 2011. To 2010, he went to court. 2011, the Bitcoin crash. Then in 2019, he was arrested again. That led to the whole financial system collapsing and the world collapsing and the world shutting down with the COVID-19. That happened 2019. That's when he was arrested. And in 2020, it collapsed. I'll say it again. 2005 led to a housing market crisis. Dex Lattimore, the economist for the Soul Tribe, told me this. He wanted to come on and tell us, but he was busy. He had to do some other things. So he told me, go ahead, you talk about it. 2005, 2010 led to the Bitcoin collapse and market fluctuations and problems. And 2019 led to the whole world being shut down. Now that the files are being dumped in 2026, what do you think is going to happen? Everything tied to it is going to collapse. But that's an opportunity. Something that looks bad for one person can be good for somebody else. It's called opportunities. If we avail ourselves of the opportunity to create change, we're going to be in good shape. So let's have our hearts and mind in a proper place to get our families together, to mend our relationships, to restore relationships. Let's learn how to barter. Let's learn what real money is. Money constitutionally is silver and gold. If it's in your budget, get what you can, or look for other means or ways to get what we call alternative currency, or to get Goldbacks. You can get half, you can get whole Goldback. It's just preparation. Constitutional coins minted before 1965. You might say, I don't have it. You can sell some, or you can wait, or you can get with your family members and put money together. Why are you doing this? Because as the dollar loses value, you can use the dollar, the USD, to buy real hard assets. You can buy some of these buildings that are up for sale because people are self-deporting or they've been deported, with the immigration laws being what they are now. Commercial buildings you can buy. You can start schools. You don't even have to have money to do that. We talked about this in a private group today. You can actually start in your home at your table, educating your children with what you have, reading, writing, and arithmetic. They can test each other with the math facts. They have flashcards. They have hooked on phonics and different materials that teach you how to phonetically sound out words and create words so that, or learn words so that you can learn how to read. Reading, writing, arithmetic, that's the foundation. You know how to sign your name? You know how to write your name? Writing? Do you know how to read? A lot of people don't because they watch videos, which that's one way of learning, but reading a book is also a way to inform yourself. And then you won't be hooked on social media or electronics. Teach them to read, teach them to write, teach them how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. They have flashcards that can do that. They even have videos if you want a video to teach them. Or you can have the older children to teach them. And you can test them and you can teach them what you know. If you're in the food industry, teach them how to cook, teach them how to farm, teach them how to plant, teach them how to fix shoes, whatever you're into, teach them about precious metal, whatever you do. If you're an artist, teach them art. If you're a mechanic, teach them that. We're moving back to that era. And if you're ready, when it's time, we just gonna go. You're selling your BTC then, and I want no parts of that. Yeah, they sold children. They thought Bitcoin could fix it, Selmo said. Mississippi, they are phasing out state income tax from 3% to 4% to 3%, and then by 2030, phase it out completely. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, family, you're welcome. My point of coming today is to say, right, that we all have a choice. We can choose to prepare now and be ready to go to start building. When it's time, we're literally going to have somebody to stand up and say, it's over. That's what I said last night. Good morning. And in case I don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Curtain call. It's the curtain call. Everything is collapsing. They're all being implicated, even if they weren't prosecuted and arrested, which many of them are being prosecuted and arrested. Even if they aren't, people know where you live. People know where coaches live. They know where judges and attorneys live. They know what coaches live. They know where teachers and doctors and ministers live. Do you think if people find out something happened to the children and their family, they're just gonna sit back and allow it to happen? They know where people live. People cannot hide behind their secret societies anymore. They can't do so many rituals that's going to get them out of trouble because the rituals ain't working. And we know about the rituals now. Now, you can keep doing the rituals. It's not guaranteed wealth. People that's been involved in this, they know this now. They're like, how are these people, everyday people, now making money doing podcasts? So now what you have is so-called elites, elites, deletes, Elohim, cabal, secret society members, entertainers. Now that they're not making money in Hollywood and music now, and they're a comedian that used to make money cracking jokes about body parts and behinds and everything, all this stuff. They make you laugh while they talk about cheating and lying and killing and saying bad words and all that. Now that their time is up, they can't do enough sacrificing because the upline has stepped down and upline has been dealt with. Now they want to be a podcaster. And they all want to kiki and caca online and make money like the everyday people. And some of them are wondering, how are they allowed to make money? I had to sell my soul. That was their choice. But guess what? You can step down, you can run, but you can't hide. You can create your podcast. Better go ahead and make all the money you can now because your assets are going to be frozen if you sold your soul. My point is we all have a choice. The timeline is being split. It always was people who lived in the public and people who lived in the private, people who paid taxes, people who didn't, people who were slaves or civilians, people who were sovereign, people who were citizens, people who were sovereign. I'm not talking about sovereign citizens. The people like, ha, 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 you a sovereign citizen, ha, 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 y'all a bunch of dummies, ha, ha, ha. They just think everything's a joke. Did it work? Sovereign citizen, but you can't be sovereign and a citizen. That's an oxymoron. Either you're a citizen or a slave of the United States Incorporated, or you're sovereign, they were and always have been people operating under the Republic. They're just quiet. They just don't play games with the regular people. They don't hang out. They don't party and kiki and caca. They don't pay taxes. They're producers. Not necessarily consumers. You have your consumers and you have a producer. They're producing something that adds value to the lives of the other people. You probably will always have consumers and producers. Which one? Which side of the fence are you on? It's okay to consume what you need, but some people may only be consumers while others are producers. You can produce for your family, for your loved ones, for your community. Provide a service, produce something, yield something. Producers have a different mentality from people that are consuming only. Producers provide a value to the lives of the people in society, in their community, in their family members. They use what they have to give, to serve, to offer something. They have a whole different mindset. People say, why would you be a precious metals company and sell precious metals when you can hoard it all to yourself. Ha ha ha. I've heard people say that's not real. They don't care. They're just no. Producers who are offering a service, they're not all wicked. They're not all trying to amass everything to themselves. They're thinking beyond that. They're saying, I have a win-win mentality. I can win and society can win. I provide a service, I produce something, I'm giving to them, I'm providing a service, they buy it, they're giving me money, I use my energy to give them something. It's a win-win mentality. You have lose-lose, well, I ain't got enough and you ain't got enough and nothing never happened. We both lose. You have lose-win, well, I don't think highly of myself. I don't have nothing again, but you got everything. You're going to always have everything. You have win-win when you say, hey, I have something to offer. You have something to offer. We can barter or go back and forth because we're both going to benefit. And then you can say win-win or no deal. Either we enter into a relationship where we both contribute, where we both benefit, or there's no deal. No harm, no foul. Lose, 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 win. Win, lose, where I'm winning and you losing. I'm doing all the good and I'm losing. Win-win or win-win or no deal. Part of Stephen Covey's 7 habits for highly effective people. Where are we going to be? Are we going to be lose-lose? Well, hey, I don't care. I'm have a scarcity mentality. Nobody's going to win. I don't want to participate. I'm going to lose. You're going to lose. I'm going to be a slave. You're going to be a slave. It's over for us. Lose, 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 win. I'm going to always be a slave, but you always got everything. You know everything. You're good. I don't care. I'm going to be pessimistic. Or I'm going to be passive aggressive because I know I'm going to get the short end of the stick and you're going to always win. Lose, win, or win, lose, where I only care about myself. I'm winning. I don't care about you. I'm going to do what I want to do. You're going to lose out. Win-win, let's barter. Let's work together. Let's communicate back and forth so we both can gain something, or let's you produce something, I produce something, we barter, we all win, win-win, or win-win or no deal. Either we enter this relationship knowing we both going to get something out of it, or it's no deal. No harm, no foul, we cool. How can you ensure that we all win, or we at least do our best? Begin with the end in mind. What's your mission? What's your purpose here on this life, on this plane, earth plane? Figure it out. Write it out. You should be able to state it on command what you were brought here to do, or what you decided to come here to do. Most of us, many of us decided to come here to experience the golden new reality and to create change, to create heaven on earth, to produce and provide a service, to provide something for humanity, to make sure our posterity, future generations have something. What is your mission? What is your purpose? What did you come here to do? What is the vision for your life? I will create humanitarian projects. I will create projects to ensure there's change for my community. I will leave a legacy of values for my children, my family, my posterity. I will future vision. Without a vision, people perish. Write the vision, make it plain for yourself and for your family. Your family should be able to state your family mission upon command. It should be simple, should be one sentence, 1 or 2 at the most that they can say upon command, or it could be longer, but typically 1 or 2 sentences. Where are we here? What is the mission and what is the purpose, intent of our family? What is the vision? Our family would be the leading family who will sell precious metals to the community. Our family would be the family that will provide education for society. Our family would be the family that will secure wealth for our future generations. Our family, what do you foresee? That's the end. Write it down. Teach it to your to your children, your children's children, to your family members, to your wife, your husband. Get a buy-in and get everybody to buy in on as much as you can. Write it out, make it plain. And when you know the end, when you know your vision, when you know the purpose and the intent of your life, why you're here, that's the end. Every activity you do, you make sure it aligns. Begin with the end in mind. Before I wake up, I already know that my purpose is to raise the vibrations of the planet. When I wake up, I know it. When I get up, I want to eat like that's my purpose. I want to make sure I eat well, because if my vibrations are low, it's going to be very challenging to raise the vibrations of the soul tribe, of the people that are under the sound of my voice. So I eat with intention. I think with intention. If bad thoughts come, I rebuke them. I get rid of them immediately. But I make sure I feed my subconscious mind with positive thoughts, positive music, positive words, positive people, positive vibrations, positive environment. That's why I moved from Louisville, Kentucky to Jacksonville, Florida, because the environment was conducive to my vibrations being raised. This being in the sun, being near the water. Every activity aligns with my purpose to raise the vibrations of the planet, to liberate humanity by raising the vibrations of the planet and by teaching. What I eat aligns with my purpose. How I think aligns with my purpose. Any relationship that I enter must align with my purpose. If I start off getting to know people and I see they don't align with my purpose to raise the vibrations of the planet, to liberate humanity, then I sever ties, or I'll change the nature of the relationship, or I just go on by my happy way. I'm intentional about what I wear. I'm intentional about how I look when I walk out the house. I'm intentional about my weight, about what I put in my body, about the supplements I eat, but how I look, because as a so-called life coach, minister, chiefess, prophetess, whatever you call it, mother, mama, big mama, tribal leader, I need to look like the image of deliverance. I need to look like the image of wealth. I need to look like what I preach. I need to practice it. I need to live it with intention. Begin with the end in mind. The end is that as many that can will be liberated. The planet is liberated. That's the end goal for me. To make sure the vibrations of the planet are so high that the people become liberated from the shackles of poverty, the shackles of enslavement, the shackles of harm, the shackles of drugs, the shackles of fractured families. My end is liberation of the planet, raising the vibrational frequency so the planet can be liberated. That's the end. So I begin each day with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. Everything that you do, everything I do aligns with my purpose. And if I figure out or find out or realize, like, this doesn't align with my purpose, I have to abort that mission. I stop that and start doing this. Sometimes you'll relax and you'll say, hey, I just want to relax. I just want to chill by the water. I want to listen to music. I want to be entertained, but still you're mindful. You're beginning with the end in mind. We have a choice. We have a task to do, family. We have decided to come here to change the trajectory of the planet. We have decided to come here to heal, to make whole, to help people become self-actualized. First, you have to become self-actualized yourself, realizing and walking in your own purpose, and then you can properly reach transcendence, which is helping others to do the same. Now, some people decided to come here to learn lessons. So they may continue to go through trials and tribulations. They may continue to live in 3D until they transition and leave the plane, and it might keep coming back and back. That might be their soul's purpose. Choose you this day whom you will serve. Choose you this day what you will do. Thank you, Sister Janine, for keeping the conversation flowing and making sure people don't post certain things in the chat. Choose you this day to have the win-win mentality so that we all can win as a human family. So that's about it, family. I think I just wanted to say that I know that the realities are shifting for many of us. We're transitioning into 5D. We have determined that we are the change that we desire to see. We are the savior for whom we've been looking. We made that in our minds, made it up in our minds. And we only have the space to help people and work with people that have the same trajectory, or those that wish to have better for themselves. And those that can't do, we're going to help. We're going to do it for many people. But for those who are not in alignment with that, we give you this call out to come on board, because there might be a time of silver and gold become unobtainium. Copper, we already saw, it was like nowhere to be found unless you listen to the private membership group where we told you where there was some copper still found. But unobtainium, even if it's found, what happens when the demand is so high that they raise the price and it becomes very challenging to get? Or what happens when so many people are trying to get certain things that now the supply is low and they have to go out and produce more? You don't want the door to be shut. Everybody generally has an opportunity, but sometimes there comes a time when doors shut and you have to just wait until more is produced or more is provided. That's all I'm trying to say. My desire is to encourage you. Thank you so much, Sister Franny. She says, I appreciate all you do for the Soul Tribe. So if you desire to get foreign currencies, we've been saying for a long time where to get them from. We talked about it here. Chief Max talked about it. You can put it in the chat. That could be your opportunity to secure wealth for your family. What you do is you buy currencies while they have depreciated, while they're low. And then when they make a formal announcement that their country's currencies is now backed by silver, gold, palladium, platinum, other resources that the countries have, there will be a new rate put on those currencies. Then you will go to the Wealth Management Center, formerly known as a bank. You will get the new exchange rate on those currencies, and potentially become very wealthy. You can also, so those are foreign currencies. You can also get silver and gold. Some people have IRAs, they have savings, and they desire to put them into silver and gold. Everybody's not poor. Everybody doesn't have a limited budget. Some people actually have savings, that they can afford to get gold. If you desire gold or silver, go to your local coin shop, or you can call Miles Franklin at 952-929-7006. Send them an email at info@milesfranklin.com and let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, so you can get the best prices in the industry, or explore your options and go to other online dealers. If an ounce is not what you want, you can get a half an ounce. You can get a fourth of an ounce. You can get silver ingots. You can get silver bullets. You can get silver grams. You can get gold grams. You can get half an ounce. You can get Goldbacks or gold RM notes. That's real 24 karat gold pressed onto a note that you can use to buy local goods and services. You can get silver or gold jewelry. You can go to the pawn shop, the antique shop, an estate sale. Your coin collector sometimes have silver and jewelry, other jewelry. You can get silver bullion, silver coins, constitutional or junk silver coins minted before 1965. They have 92% silver. No, they have 90% silver. Sterling silver has 92% silver. You see, there are opportunities. Where can you get foreign currencies? You can go to an online dealer. Sometimes you can go to an estate sale, an antique shop, a pawn shop, and find foreign currencies. Sometimes your local coin dealer will have boxes of foreign currencies. Isn't that interesting? One year I bought a Zim note, a $1 trillion, is it $100 trillion note for $1.99. At my local, there was some coin collectors extravaganza conference where all the coin dealers in the region were, selling coins. They were collectors selling coins. Some of them selling foreign currencies because they had traveled many different places, or they bought up currency, not even thinking about a revaluation of currencies. Some people just like collecting these things. One person had $100 trillion note for $99. I said, ooh, I like that. I knew what it was. And they said, oh, yeah, they suffered some of the highest inflation in the world. That's a nice collector's item. So, oh, how much is that going for? He said 99 cents. You can become a trillionaire. Huh? You can say you're a trillionaire because it's $100 trillion note. I said, I sure can. Huh? Thank you so much. Bought it for 99 cents because I had the mind that I am the big mama, the person in my family who will help liberate the people in my family, in community, in society, as much as lies within me. So I'm looking for opportunities. And because I know this is doable, and I know this is a part of my reality, and I have an abundance mentality, I align myself with the person, because it's about energy, who happen to be selling it. It's beautiful the way this works. So this is how powerful we are. We chose to come here to do this, family. Choose this day which mindset you will have. Will it be an abundance mentality or a scarcity mentality? It is my hope. It is my greatest desire for you and me to have an abundance mentality. Choose this day. Will we create an heaven on earth, 5D higher, 10D, or will we just accept whatever the deep state cabal has for us? Let's choose joy. Let's choose peace. Let's choose wealth. Let's choose prosperity, because there are scriptures, if you come from a Christian background, that says, I will that you be in good health and prosper even as your soul prospers. There are scriptures that talks about us being abundant. There are scriptures that says the wealth of the wicked has been stored up for the righteous. There are scriptures that say the meek that shall inherit the earth. And I'm sure from whatever philosophical background you come, there are also statements that talk about the earth being the creators. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. That there's plenty of wealth, plenty of joy, plenty of peace, plenty of prosperity. So having said that, family, I'm so appreciative of you all being here. I honor you. I love you. I acknowledge you. The good in me acknowledges the good in you. The God in me acknowledges the good God in you. Thank you, Adette Moore. So good to see you always. And I'm grateful for you allow me the opportunity to share the information that source gives me and that the ancestors give me. You avail me of the opportunity. You grant me the opportunity, great question, to share the information and to utilize my gifts. Now, question time. Sean Harris asked, why does it say the notes are only collectibles? Because they've signed non-disclosure agreements that they will only call these collectibles, or they will say this that has no monetary value. What they're doing is they're withholding the information until it's time for the world to know. I know for a fact, now we've been saying that people sign non-disclosure agreements, but I actually talked to a foreign currency dealer because I was inviting him to come to my show, and he said, we sign non-disclosure agreements. We're not allowed to say that it's money or has monetary value or it's a collectible, because what if it doesn't happen? Then we will have put our licenses on the line, and for some of the people that know this to be true, they still sign that non-disclosure agreement that they would not disclose that information. There's a time and a season for everything. What's that? Is that Ecclesiastes? There's a time and season. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Just like it's not time for everybody to wake up. It's not time for everybody to know the truth. You can't handle the truth. Everybody's not able to handle the truth. I'm like, they just need to let this information all out, tell the truth. Believe it or not, some people, they aren't ready. And then you have some people in power that just don't want everybody to know this information because they're trying to hold on to their power. And then you don't want a whole bunch of people flooding the banks or wealth management center say, hey, I want to exchange my currency before it's time. because people keep coming in, calling. But Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. The New Living Translation is, for everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. The King James Version is, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. It just might not be the time, but in short, they've signed non-disclosure agreements. That was a phenomenal, a fabulous, and excellent question. Thank you for asking that question. That was great, Brother Harris. You're welcome. I love you more, Sister Vicky. I love you. Metals will back our currencies. Yes. So if you want to know which country's currency to get, most people are talking about the Iraqi dinar, Venezuelan bolivar, Zimbabwean zim, Vietnamese dong, but there are others. Research the country, look at the resources that they have that will back the country's currency, because in all honesty, all countries' currencies will be revalued. They're all going to be free. All nations have already agreed to sovereignty and world peace. They all have some wealth, or at least some ability to mine the wealth that's in their region, and or they have trade agreements. They have something that will back their currencies. So research the country, look for the countries that have had sanctions on them, countries that have been, their currency have been devalued through war, and look at the resources that the countries have that will back their currencies. And that might inform you on which other currencies to get. But yes, metals will back the currency, land will back the currency. So some countries you'll be like, but they don't have any silver or gold or diamonds, but they have arable land that can back a country's currency. Oil can back a country's currency. Any type of resource, human resources, the ability of the people that live in that country to produce can back a country's currencies. There's a country that just decided to use the money that the United States invested in the oil in their country. They said, we're using these USD to back and prop up our currency. There are all type of resources that will support the currency. The whole world's currencies, thank you so much, are being revalued. I love you so much, Sister Janine. Thank you for serving us. She says, you are so amazing. Big hugs to you. Big hugs to you too, sister. Always great to see you at that board. May the Most High continue to bless you too, Sister Chloe. You're welcome, Sean. You're welcome, Sister Julia. You said, gotcha. Digitally through XRP blockchain digitally also will support these currencies. So family, I appreciate you being here. A great law is the return of the life towards the superior worlds. The Lama says, on their sites, they will say, yes, these currencies have no monetary value. I love you all, family. Vietnam will have a great revaluation rate. We talked about them in the private group today. Most humans are not willing to help others, so when they accumulate wealth, it's only for their selfish needs. Yes. And then a lot of people are coming out of that mindset. But you're right, a lot of people are selfish. Vietnam suppressed their own country's currencies on purpose. If you desire to join the private group, I'm going to put that link in the chat. We talk in detail about investments. We talk about foreign currencies, which currencies to look into, why, what's alternative monetary source. We were talking about Goldbacks before people knew about Goldbacks. We were talking about gold RM notes and Goldbacks for years. We were talking about different metals to invest in. We were talking about land, just all type of things. We have bank perks that came out from one of the major banks. Perks that for people that are revaluing their currencies. We have how to set up your own single family office. We have those plans, what that look like. I think single family office, how you set up your own office for your family to manage and invest your wealth. We have all type of information sheets that we gave to each other to help you categorize your currency. You don't have to be part of a group. You can do that on your own. But if you desire to be part of a community where we meet at least once a week to discuss these things. And then we also I have over 100 videos in my members only group and many posts, many shorts as well, and many lives. Here's the link to the private group, or you can go to any of our videos and hit the join button. Thank you for listening from upstate New York. Hit the join button, follow the prompts, and you'll be in a private group. If you desire to contact Chief Mac for a consultation, email him at unityemotion45@yahoo.com. Thank you, Sister Janine, for putting that in the chat. If you desire to join a private group, here you are. I don't know. Somebody asked, so if you were to invest in Bitcoin or others, how do you separate it from being tracked? Everything is tracked. What I mean by tracked is, although these different things that we're talking about, decentralized, gold and silver are decentralized, not controlled by the central bank. A lot of digital currencies are decentralized and not controlled by the power structure that was in place. What else? A lot of these things. The stock market, now that is part of the old system. But even though they're decentralized, you're still being monitored. Whether some people think that's a bad thing because they're like, I don't want anybody tracking me, but we're being monitored to ensure as well. The good side of that, there's a good and there might be a negative to everything. The good side of that is people can't use or won't use these alternative ways of having money to buy children. And that's very, very important. And we never allow that to happen again. Now, you might have missed it where I said that Bitcoin is taking a major hit. It had the first collapse in 2011, but it keeps taking major hits because this is what the deep state used to buy children. It may cease to exist. However, you still desire to invest in it or in other different digital currencies or alternative sources of currency, then do so. But from my understanding, the quantum financial system is a sentient system that was given to us by extraterrestrials that know your energy and they can read your intent, read your heart. It's not really hard to read somebody's intent. All you have to do really is read their energy and pay attention to what they've done in their past. That's a great indication of what some people will do in the future. But this is a sentient system called a quantum financial system. Excuse me, please. Yeah, they did use Bitcoin to buy babies, Sister Janine is saying. Stablecoin is the future. Awesome. So Ocean View, you can let's talk about that in a private group. I'm just not getting into understanding humanitarian projects, and I must get in on this. My hometown needs healing and protection. So there's a video on my public channel of how to create a humanitarian project with Dr. Kia Pruitt and Gold Star Mother Susan Price. I'll put that in the chat. Okay. But in a private group, we have a concise video. I did 2 parts with Gold Star Mother Susan Price. There's a concise video that's like 35 minutes that just gives good information on how to create a humanitarian project. A humanitarian project, as you know, is something that you would create to help people come off drugs, rehabilitate, or whatever, clean the water. There's a group of people in the RV movement, revaluation of currency movement, that say that you have to have a humanitarian project in order to get certain rates. That it may be true. We don't know for sure. What we do know is that you may be asked what you're going to do with the money, not to control you, but you're talking about trillions of dollars, billions of dollars. May or may not be asked, especially if you want a different rate from other people. But then you have some people kind of mixing this up with the humanitarian projects through global settlements that was introduced in the 80s, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, where the government actually reached out to certain groups and certain churches and said, hey, at some point, there are global settlements, monies, and wealth that will be injected into the global economy that will help humanity. If you have a project, any of your church members or organization members that you know can help humanity, then create the project, or at least an outline. Will teach them. The federal government said that. The benevolent faction, they're benevolent and malevolent, or good and bad in all factions. We'll teach them how to do it, and we will examine your humanitarian projects. You must, in order to receive this money that's coming from these global settlements, you must, in order to receive the money, we must do a thorough background check to make sure that you're found worthy to implement these. So we got to know you're not going to steal the money. So those were programs of 70s and 80s. People signed up for them, churches, organizations. The people went through vetting processes, create humanitarian projects, and then certain people came out to approve those projects. Well, Gold Star Mother Susan Price entered in the 2000s with her church, a very well-known church in Florida, and her project was actually approved. Who looked at her project and the projects then from the Trump's first administration? It was the gentleman who was over the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Dr. Ben Carson approved her plan. So she was able to teach people how to create humanitarian projects. So that was in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up to the 2000s. These people knew that the time was coming. They just didn't know when the money would be released. So you have some people that know about those programs. Some of them are mixing it up with the RV, saying you must have a humanitarian project in order to exchange your currencies. That may or may not be so. But if you're going to be wealthy, it makes good sense, whether it's true or not, that you have to have a humanitarian project to create one. If you go to the Dr. Kia Pruitt show on YouTube, you can even find me on Rumble too, Dr. Kia Pruitt or Dr. Kia Pruitt Official, and put in humanitarian projects or Susan Price, then you will see videos where we mention it. We mentioned how to create one. Gold Star Mother Susan Price is not taking consultations. She was so generous when she did this for us. She actually helped people and asked for no money. People could just give donations, but please don't email her and inundate her, because I reposted this video for the information, but not for people. She's doing her own podcast. She's a Gold Star Mother. She's helping people doing projects. She doesn't have time to help people. Some people she will send a template. She has sent templates to, but this is part 1. And there's a part 2 somewhere on here. This is when I went to the Quantum Bridge to talk to my friends that are in Great Britain about humanitarian projects. We talked about how you can create them now. You don't have to wait for an RV. And now here are more videos where I just mentioned Nasara and how to create humanitarian projects. In a private group, though, we have a concise video where Dave XRP Lion 1 uses the information that Gold Star Mother Susan Price taught us through part 1 and part 2 to create a concise, easy to understand, easy to follow video. So again, if you want to join a private group, just hit the join button on any of my videos. So family, I've been on for, contact me. You're a member. If you're a member, you're not a member, okay, contact me at kiapruitt@gmail.com. Greetings, Dr. Pruitt. Just got here, but I'll get the replay. Good. So you're welcome for the uplifting information. My name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust I said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Family, we have a choice. Choose you this day. High vibrations or low vibrations. Good versus evil. The abundance mindset versus a scarcity mindset. Heaven versus hell. 5D and beyond versus 3D. It's a choice. The veil has been split and we all have a choice. What did you choose to come here to do? Do it. You're welcome. That's it, family. Everything is changing as the world awakens. I love you, family. We win. We always choose high vibrations. That's right. Creator bless you. Heaven smile on you. I love you so much. Go out and make this a great day. And for all of you that contributed by sending me donations at $Mama Kia 13, thank you so much. I will acknowledge you on my next podcast. Please forgive me. I need to get my grandchildren. I love you, family. Make sure you hit the like button. Soul Tribe, thanks you, Dr. Pruitt. Thank you, Soul Tribe, for supporting our beautiful doctor. Thank you, Sister Janine. I love you so much. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the private group if you desire. It's my great pleasure to always brighten up your day and to bring positive, good information. So my family's trying to come in. I love you, family. I am going to hit the camera, go off camera. She mentioned it in her live video. I'll watch it. And tell her that she can contact me. I'm glad if she mentioned it, I'm glad. No, I'm not saying you're just saying that I'm glad because now we can have a conversation. Why would I call ICE on somebody? That's weird. Especially somebody I support. So hit the like button. Yes, I agree. I listen too. You never know what people are telling other people. Wow. So anyway, family, I love you so much. I'll talk to you soon. I'm going to go off camera, but I'll play the outro. Peace. Have a great day. Make it a great day. Bye-bye. Or I should say, see you later.
Shining wisdom's light, teaching soul tribe how to see through the night. Ancient scriptures and bloodlines she knows, spreading truth wherever she goes. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. Through her channel, knowledge flows, breaking chains that hold us close, teaching paths to abundance and wealth, guiding others to free themselves. Soul tribe rising, hear her call, raising vibrations for one and all. Dr. Kia shows the way to a brighter, freer day. From currencies to investments divine, she's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do.
Good night, Soul Tribe. I love you. Take care and make this a great day. Beautiful, sweet, pleasant dreams. Peace and soul.